buying the mere necessities. So I'd be fully in support of it.
I guess the only part of this that I kind of struggle with is how the pre-K through 12 interfaces with this. Maybe I'm ignorant, but it seems like almost a separate part that was added on to a good program in my mind.
I guess I would argue with that, or my response to that, I'm not trying to argue, but my response to that would be how many of these, maybe not necessarily in Pine City, but definitely in Pine County and other areas, how many of these EMTs, firefighters, folks have kids that they get called on a fire call. Things are, you work a shift and your child is at pre-K would be a child care facility with education for the kids. K through 12, I think that personally.
But the teachers are being tied in here. It's possible that first responders are teachers, but they would be covered under the first responder side. But the teachers aren't necessarily first responders, paramedics, police, and that's the part that I kind of struggle with, because it seems like you're trying to do a really good thing, and there's that little fine gray point in the small writing that's getting tacked onto a good thing.
Yeah, I guess the name, the HELPER Act, HELPER stands for Homes for Everyone, Local Protector, Educator, and Responder.
So that's from the bill language.
Yeah,
something that you're right.
This was all from the general intent.
Part of what I read about it when I researched it was that, you know, starting teachers don't get the same wages some that's been there for. And a lot of these starting teachers, when they come to a town like Pine City, they're not going to get the wages that they would get in Bloomington. And this would make it maybe a little bit easier for the school districts to hire up. I'm not saying they're all top-notch teachers, but top-notch teachers, and get them to come here. And because the wages aren't as high, but they can get this loan and they can buy this house. Probably a bigger house for less money than they would if they went to Bloomington. That's what I read, and I thought that's why the point where I supported it, Kyle. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have supported that either.
And I think if any of these folks, teachers included, you're looking at first-time homes costing. Remember when I bought my house 15 years ago and I spent $70,000 on it, and you're not touching anything for 4 times that amount, even in Pine City these days. So it's anything that we can do to help keep teachers local. I think a local teacher that's living close to where they're teaching is going to be a benefit to the community throughout. I think we need to protect our police responder, or our police officers, our first responders, our firefighters. I think that's anything we can do to give them a little extra, because they would give their life for us if the situation came to it. So
The only question I have is that by reading it, just to confirm, it's bipartisan and bicameral, so we wouldn't be tipping our toes into partisan endorsementship one way or the other. Okay.
You need a motion?
yes, please.
I'll make that motion that you send that letter.
Got a motion from Dave to proceed. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Aye. Motion carries. All right, next up, item number 8, committee updates and recommendations. Library.
We discussed the new library hours, which are going pretty good. Kind of a shock to some in the community still too, and discuss the reasons why the hours have been cut. And if you're not aware, it's because of funding. Federal buckets got closed off, the state buckets that got closed off, the local jurisdictions, and people had to adjust on the fly. There's discussion about the ADA door opener that is reaching the end of its usable life, and there's some estimates being acquired for that. Update on the Pine City Reads program. The people involved at the school level have been given the book suggestion, but we're still struggling with communication, if that's correct. We discussed the fireplace repair. There's some issues with the fireplace and the gas piping and things like that. So there's been, gonna possibly looking at, putting an electric insert in instead of maybe repairing it to see if we can make that space usable. And the water bottle fountain for out here, gonna work on getting prices and look around for some grants and potentially local nonprofit groups that might be willing to help donate to cover the cost of that. Did I miss anything?
The roof.
The roof.
So Brock verified that it's not the block drains.
Okay.
And Brock, did you say it's also not a leak? It's something else? So yeah, it's not what we thought, so that he's having someone look at it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, good. Because roofs are expensive.
Well, if they fail, then other things fail.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, Parks and Rec.
I wasn't there. I don't think we had any
Oh.
council representation there.
Did not. Brock, do you wanna give a little update on the meeting? You wanna step up to the podium?
I do apologize for not being there. I was definitely sick last week, so. Just recap on what some of the projects we've been working on, some of the things we want to do this summer. We're actually short a council member, so I don't know if you guys want to decide on who wants to deal with me. Basically,
You have donuts?
we can.
Yes, I think we should.
Count me in.
Should bribe people.
Yeah, a couple things I'd like to bring up on the next one. I might do a special meeting, like pickleball, disc golf. Thinking of moving National Night Out to October. It's apparently down south, that's a big thing. I actually think it would open up a whole lot more availability for everything.
But that's not National Night Out. It's just Pine City's Night Out.
October 6th, they do it in Texas and the southern states.
Maybe we get more participants if we had our own night, not competing with other cities.
Yeah, I agree. That's something we've been kicking around.
There's one thing we talked about with National Night Out. It's kind of police and fire department organized, and we have a sheriff's office who has to be in 3 or 4 other cities, so the resources get slim for that evening.
Plus, on top of that, it's always the Tuesday directly after the Pine County Fair.
Yes.
And as a parent, the last thing you want to do is get done Sunday and then on Tuesday go deal with more people. So that something I'm kicking around. That was about it. It was a pretty short meeting. We had 2 new members. So thanks for coming. And yeah,
What times are your meetings?
5 o'clock.
Thursdays, right?
Quarterly.
I can try to fill in before, it'll be, if I'm available.
I asked the last one. Probably not to come.
Oh. Well,
I was super sick.
I know you. Yeah, I can relate to that. I just got out of the hospital today.
Just
Perfect.
one other committee thing, if I could, just a clarification from our last meetings, committee updates with the EDA rack cards and the MOA rack cards. The EDA approved a rack card to promote the business resources available within this city of Pine City, which we got a copy of. Copies of this brochure available at the chamber office and city hall for distribution to businesses as the city meets with them to talk about resources. During the EDA meeting, the chamber shared that they have created a tourism rack card that also was attached to this email. And the chamber is paying for a slot at the Mall of America for their, in their Mall of America tourism storefronts, and are having 1,000 of them printed. But it's not the EDA rack card, it's the Chamber of Commerce rack card that's at the Mall. And depending on how that goes, then EDA may be interested in sharing that cost. But I just wanted to clarify that because we didn't have the information correct.
Thank you, Dan. Any other questions or comments about committees? And we'll move on to work session planning. We discussed earlier. I think we should meet with HRA and find, EDA and find some dates first. And
Can I make a suggestion that can we consider having a council only EDA work session for us to be able to discuss with the presentation what it is maybe we want to do as a council or questions that we might have before we enter into a joint work session?
yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Will that be a meeting open to the public?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
For officers.
Do you want to get that done
We'll look for dates.
prior to this month sometime, or are we thinking?
The present like the time.
The other thing would be nice to sit down for a work session and review the final fire study as a council. Without maybe the townships necessarily present. I mean, open public meeting they can join, but there was a lot of information that was outlined in there that I think that we as a council need to discuss.
I could not agree more.
Would you like to combine the two into one work session?
I kind of feel like they should be separate ones because I don't want it to turn into a 7-hour meeting.
Nor I.
I mean, we can. I don't.
Do we want to put time limits on it? We've been pretty good about
You
sticking
have
to our time limit.
I'll just put time limits on.
That
don't
the
know, just a
2-hour
suggestion.
mark is kind of nice just to have it hash it out, but I don't know. Both subjects seem like they could easily take 2 hours.
Make a good point.
You could try a hard stop after 2 hours too and see if that would work. Otherwise, we can schedule two.
I think that they could both get, but I tend to agree. I think they could both get. Especially the fire study, just making it through these thinking information alone can take 2 hours. A lot of information.
118 pages on the base one.
Yeah, and I've already read it twice and I still don't understand.
It'll put you to sleep.
Just looking at my calendar here. Next week, it's crazy for me. Plus we already have HRA planning and
EDA and
EDA
public.
and
Public Works.
I do kind of feel like the fire study is maybe more on our timeline and the EDA is more of a pressing matter in my mind just for all the reasons you listed before. So I guess that would be my priority for the first work session.
Okay.
But I am totally open to what the rest of the council has.
If we wanted to have a council work session on the week of the 27th is wide open for me.
That looked pretty good that week too.
I will be gone on the 28th to the 29th.
I'll be gone 20th, 29th in Rochester.
The 30th will be available.
Probably it's the 27th or the 30th. 30th is fine with me.
Yeah, I can. 30th work.
I'm open both days.
5:30 here.
27 or 30th?
30th.
30th?
30th.
30th, 5:30? Would you like to go ahead and look at your calendar for the fire?
Yeah.
Since we are here.
I'll do it on the first. Do 2 in a row, or is that too much?
My day's open.
I currently don't have anything scheduled that day.
Because when is it's the 13th is the final presentation,
Yep,
is that correct?
Correct.
Started early in the day, that would give us some time if we break on.
Want to do that one at 5:30 as well, or do you want to start that
It's a Friday. We
Start early.
like
1.
1?
What does everybody's daytime schedule feel on Friday?
Right now, I'm wide open.
9 a.m.?
I'll make it work. Yeah,
9 a.m.
let me know. Should
Oh, this room is busy till 11, so anything after 11, we're good.
start at noon, 30.
Or have a meeting at the fire hall.
Oh, that's true.
Good. We
Would
got
you rather earlier?
I would,
You're the one with the probably the most complicated schedule.
I would personally rather only take half a day of PTO.
Yeah.
If that works out, but I can make it work either way.
What time?
Noon 30?
Noon 30?
On 5/1, noon 30.
And that will be back in here because it'll be open.
We can be back in here, yes. Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Look at that schedule.
All right. Any other work study follow-up session? Excuse me.
I think we're probably good for this month, but in May, we're gonna have to start looking at budget workshop meetings.
Mhm.
So,
Perfect. Next up, mayor's report, item number 10.1, Arrowhead Transit numbers. With Commissioner Hallen retiring after this term, he had reached out and asked if myself and Marcy would like to be on the Arrowhead Transit, or part of the Arrowhead Transit meetings. And last Thursday was our first meeting. And laid out, you'll see attached to your packets are the ridership numbers from, one is a comparison of what Pine County does versus what the other counties do. I wish I had a little bit more broken down for just inside the city limits, but looking at ridership from 2/1 to 2/28
Yeah.
in Pine County, they gave rides to 4,326 passengers in the month of February alone.
Just in 28 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
There's also attached is a their ridership by year, and you can clearly kind of see what everybody else is seeing with public transit and mass transit. Is after COVID, there was a sharp decline, and we're still not quite back to where the numbers were in 2019. But I would say that that's, at least from research I've done and things that I've read, that's pretty standard across the board. They were seeing that in DC with the DC Metro. They're seeing that caused the closure of the train that went from Western Minnesota to downtown Minneapolis. And their ridership wasn't there. But Arrowhead Transit's doing great. They're looking at adding services, working with the schools, working with the college.
We've really expanded their dial already too, haven't they?
Yeah, and they're rolling out, if it hasn't rolled out already, they're rolling out a new app. And it's almost like Uber, I would say.
To
where
schedule a
you can
ride.
select a ride, you can schedule a ride, you can do all that right on your phone, so you don't have to call a number or anything like that. So, if you're in need of transportation, I guess it's available to everybody in the community. Rates are super affordable, and they have got routes that go all over the place.
They mentioned they were looking for volunteers, which would not be the drivers of the vans. They would be,
They're looking for volunteers for folks that could spare some time or get on their list. Before COVID, they had a huge list of folks that would do medical transports.
Yep.
And you would get mileage reimbursement and things like that. But it would be driving somebody down to their hospital appointment and then bringing them back home or something like that. And that's, if anybody's interested, please reach out to
reach out to either the city or directly to Arrowhead.
Arrowhead
But
Transit.
yeah, the reimbursement is through the mileage. And then, you're donating your time.
Yeah, it was a great meeting. I'm excited to learn more. We kind of just jumped off the pool in the deep end and learned a lot about transit. But no, I'm excited to learn more, and I'm excited to see how we can continue to make an impact within our community. But that's all I have for that, unless any council members have questions.
About that, or about concerns.
Let's do about the Oregon Transit first, and then, hearing none, now we can move on.
I just one thing, when I recently was down south, there's time to look at my iPad. I know I went on the city site just because I normally just go on it when I'm on my city, my Outlook, but I noticed there's some discrepancies on there. Gina Petty is still listed as council member, and there were some other things. It's not on this one on Outlook, but it's on regular website page, city page. I can't remember all the discrepancies, but I'll look it up again and I can let you know.
I appreciate that.
Any other council concerns?
One other council concern I'd like to emphasize again, we don't have impact on building a new school or building a new football field. That one seems to be a hot topic, like the city's involved with that. The city is 3,500 people. The school district, I think, is 9,000. So when they do those votes, that's school district wide. That's not just the city of Pine City. So there seems to be a great confusion between what the city of Pine City does and what the school district does. And again, that's separate. I hope that we keep pushing that information out there, because there really seems to be some confusion as to why we're not doing anything. And it's because we don't have any say on what they do, and they don't have any say on what we do. So, other than it would be not a joint project or something. So I hope that gets out there, because there's a lot of gray area around that part.
Homer? Any other council concerns?
Not necessarily a concern, just a plug for a community event that's going on this Saturday at Pine Tech and Community College. It's the Pine County Northern Lights Pine County Environmental Fair. We've got over 18 vendors that are going to be there, including the Wildlife Science Center from Stacy. They're going to be doing a wildlife demonstration at 10:30. It runs 10 to 2. There's going to be all kinds of activities for kids. So since it's going to be icky outside, consider coming on down. It's going to be great.
Thanks, Tim. Any other council concerns? Hearing none, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Dan, second by Kyle. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Ellen,
Thank you, everyone.
Ellen.